All right, what's up, guys? So, just doing a quick intro. I do some amateur strongman competitions, and I'm just going to basically go over my workouts every week, talk about how I'm preparing for competitions, how I'm approaching different issues I run into when I run into them, and talking about some other topics I feel like are important or things I just want to talk about related around strength sports. Just a quick background. So I did a lot of different sports throughout high school and college. And after wrestling in college, I started doing some powerlifting training. Never competed, never took it super serious, but I like to have structure and things I do and be able to progress. So used a powerlifting split and just focus on getting stronger with the big three lifts. Eventually, I got tired of that. Not tired of that, but just more interested in strongman and got a coach and started working towards preparing for a strongman competition. And last year, about a year ago, a little less, I had my first competition, which I did at 220 pounds open, and I won that. Didn't really know how I was going to do going into it, but no, surprisingly won. It did pretty well in all the events. I think I only got first place in one event, but I was second or third in every other event, and so pretty happy with that. And I think I won by a pretty good point spread because I was the only one consistently in the top three. Anyways, that qualified me for USS Nationals, and I don't know how long I'm going to compete. If I'm going to I come from a sports background, wrestling, really competitive. I'm wanting to go and do the best that I can do and face the best competition. And so I don't know how long I'm going to compete, how long I'm going to be able to compete because I wrestled and did Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and that type of combat sports stuff for a long time. So I came into strongman with a lot of previous injuries. So it's like nationals. I don't know how many times I'm going to have the chance to compete in nationals. So decided, talked to my coach, showed him the events and weights, and determined if it was something that was realistic for me to be competitive in. And we decided to go forward with it. Training for that was going really well, very well. All but one event I was feeling really confident with. And then 2 to 3 weeks out, I had an accident where, if you're not real familiar with it, sometimes strongman equipment can be sort of sketchy just because things are hacked together just to work. There's not necessarily standardized equipment for different pieces of equipment. And so things are just sort of hacked together to work however it's needed for whoever's using it for training. There's frame deadlift at nationals, and I'm working on building up frame. I think I was doing 3 sets of 8 with 620, something like that. And the frame had been a little weird the 6-ish weeks ahead of that or before that, where it was basically this frame is two farmer's handles, and then they have two inserts on the ends to connect it to make it a frame. But the connectors weren't the best. And so, long story short, during one of the reps, the two handles came apart and started twisting on me. And thankfully, it wasn't a really bad injury, but I pulled both medius, gluteus medius muscles because as it was twisting, it was changing my upper body angle, and I was trying to adjust and hold them from twisting, and those muscles overcompensated and got really, really bad pull or strain in them. And I took some time to try to recover, but a lot of the weights at nationals, I had never got to that point in training. And so if I'm missing out on 2 weeks of training, 3 weeks out, I'm going to miss out on my last heavy week. And so decided to drop out of that because I hadn't missing out on peaking and getting your last heavy week of training in is pretty big, especially when you're going into weights that you've never hit before. And so by the time the competition came around, my injury was about 95% recovered, but I didn't want to push it, get in there, re injure myself. I also don't like to compete just to compete. If I'm going to compete, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to try to win and do my best on everything. And I didn't want to have this injury either be in the back of my mind, making me not perform well, or putting it out of my mind, pushing myself, and then re-injuring it. So I dropped out of that. I did find this competition, another local competition that is Strongman Corp comp. So I signed up for it and in hopes to qualify for nationals for next year for Strongman Corp nationals. So we'll see how it goes. I think I have time to qualify for both USS and Strongman Corps nationals next year. I don't know if there's any competitions near me later this year, but I'll have to see. But currently, that's my goal. I just started my comp prep for this competition, so I'm going to do a lot of videos going over that training and just how it's going leading up to this competition. And currently, my goal is to put out a video every day, no matter how short it is, whether it's reviewing some of my training or just some topics that I'm finding interesting or important or just popped up for whatever reason during my training. Hopefully you enjoy the journey of me training for this competition. And if it all goes well, training for Strongman Core Nationals next year. Probably some competition or two between. We'll have to see. There'll also probably be a little bit of nutrition and weight management stuff because I'm in a weird position weight wise to compete at 220 or 231, maybe even dropping down to a lower weight class. Not entirely sure yet, but there'll probably be some of that along the way as well. But anyways, the focus right now is going to be me training for this competition, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks for following along. Hopefully you continue. Make sure to subscribe if you want to follow along this journey and learn more about training for strongman competitions along the way. And I'll see you tomorrow where I'll be going over my deadlift workout.